Hello, Raw Food Rehab, and welcome to Foodie Friday. I know, it's not Penny, it's me, Michelle K. from It's a High Raw Life here in the Culinary Center. Penny's off doing a wonderful project today, and she asked if I would fill in. And since food is my fun, I was more than happy to. And gung hei fa choi, it's Chinese New Year. It's February 4th, it's the year of the rabbit. So that has kind of inspired what we are going to be making today. Back where I used to live, I had a friend who made the most fabulous Chinese New Year party every year, and I really miss them, and so I'm kind of making my own. So the first thing I did was make a little cocktail. Not really a cocktail, but when you put it in a fancy glass, it is, right? It's just some Granny Smith apples juiced and about 2 inches or so of ginger, probably about that much. I just peeled off the bark, the skin, and put it through the juicer with my apples. You know what? It was so great, even on just a cold day, because you know we're having lots of cold days. The ginger, it just warms you up, and if your apples have been sitting out on the counter, it's almost, you could have it as a hot drink. So the first thing we're going to put together is the Thai salad dressing from Penny's book, and then you'll see what we're going to do with the dressing. Obviously you can use it for a salad, but I'm actually going to use it as a dip today. So you could use any kind of blender you want to make this dressing because you do most of your chopping prior. And the first thing I did was chop up 2 garlic cloves. I was lucky enough to get a hold of some organic garlic cloves recently. So we've got 2 organic garlic cloves. And the juice of half of a lime. I just used half. You know, you want to get at least a tablespoon. One of the things about a big high-speed blender like this is when you're making a tiny bit of stuff, it doesn't matter so much. So any blender will do. And I have 1 tablespoon of namu shoyu, soy sauce. And I'm going to use a tablespoon of fresh pineapple juice. This is optional. I had pineapple, and so this morning I knew I was going to be making this later. I'm going to put in a tiny bit more because I'm totally loving pineapple lately. I knew I was going to be making this later, and it called for pineapple. So it's not like I just stood here now and prepped all this stuff. Throughout the day, I kind of got little things together. So as I was making my juice this morning, I threw a few chunks of pineapple in and got out that juice. This is like 1/4 of a pineapple, made this whole little jar of juice. And then I don't want to drink that much pineapple juice, but I will surely add it into other juices that I make to sweeten them up. That's a good tip, you guys. And here's another good tip. You need to get a red chili. I had one out here somewhere, but a red chili, I'll get it out and show it to you. And you want to cut it in half and de-seed it and then mince it up before you put it in the blender. Okay. Safety goggles, gloves, all the things I didn't do are really advisable. Because let me tell you, it's not that I don't know that, and I almost always wear gloves when I'm doing peppers and stuff. And you see me not doing that now. I don't know, I was a little lazy today. But the thing, I cut it and it squirted me in the eye. And I was like, oh no, but it was okay. But then later, even though I had washed my hands like 3-4 times, yeah, I went like that, ow. So take precaution, wear gloves, it makes sense. You don't need too much else. This is a really nice, easy dressing. It calls for 2 teaspoons of agave. I have organic raw blue agave here. Again, you know, if you don't use agave, you can use honey. I don't use agave a ton of times, but I never give myself an issue if I want to use 2 teaspoons in a recipe. You do what you want, right? So get that in there. I want to rub my eye right now, but I can't because I totally have hot peppers on it. And that's everything, and we're just going to blend that up till it's creamy. So I let that blend for a good long while, and then pour it straight into the serving dish that I want to use. Oh my goodness. It smells great. Oh, that would be so good tossed with cucumbers, red peppers, a little pineapple maybe, some watercress. Would really be good on anything. Okay, let's put that aside. And now that we have the dressing ready, let me show you what I'm going to dip into it. Okay, this is raw nori sheets. When you go to the store to get your nori sheets, you have to look on the package. Most of the time they're toasted. It's your choice whether you want to be picky about that or not. But nori is such an amazing way to get these kind of minerals into your body that there's no other way practically, or yummy or edible way to do it. But anyways, we're going to make a few different wraps. This is nothing new, but especially those of you doing the cleanse, if you want something different to eat for a meal, this is a fantastic thing to do. We're going to do 2 different wraps today. And for the first one, I'm going to use, a lot of times I just roll up veggies in here and just eat it, but because I'm going to make a platter of this to be pretty for my Chinese New Year gathering, I am using cauliflower as the rice. So this is just cauliflower that I put into my food processor and chopped and chopped and chopped and chopped. So I'm just going to pack this down on here. You could use a spoon. A thin coating all the way, leaving about an inch of the wrapper left. I will try to show that to you. I'm excited. I love Chinese New Year. I'm going to go to the Shanghai Circus on Saturday too. I don't know if you could see this because it's black on black, but you see how I have that about an inch of the nori sheet is left. Now you could put whatever you want in here. What I am going to do, I decided it would be fun to chop up some carrots in the same way that I did the rice and put a small layer of that on there as well. I want it to be pretty. Now, if I wasn't making a big platter to be all fancy for my Chinese New Year thing, then I would probably just like cut a carrot in half and stick it in there and roll it up. But I'm being festive. Okay, so I'm just going to put a layer on of the carrots. And then inside of that, I'm going to put some homegrown sprouts. And again, you put whatever you want inside. The next one's going to be really interesting though. This is really sort of a regular veggie one. So I got some sprouts in there, some green onions. And don't forget, I'm not going to put soy sauce or anything like that in here because I'm going to have that awesome dip. Got green onion, and then I made just zucchini spears. And I just cut it long because I knew that was, when I looked at it, I'm like, that's totally the size of the nori sheet. So that's going in there too. Okay, and a few more sprouts on top of that. You really can experiment and put all kinds of stuff inside of a nori wrap. So definitely have fun with it. And now I'm going to just carefully roll it up. Okay, and I'm just going to roll this as tight as I can. Now the cauliflower has moistened the nori so it rolls really easy. And then I'm just going to press it down a bit, nice and firm, because when I cut it, I want it to be firm. And save all of the stuff that oozes out the side. I'm going to tell you later what to do with all of that stuff. Make sure you save it all. Okay, I've got this beautiful roll that I'm going to cut up and platter. You want to use a really sharp knife when you're cutting through the sushi. I think it's probably best to use a serrated knife. But I'm not using a serrated knife. So I'm just sharpening up my little knife. This is my favorite knife, my favorite kitchen knife. I use it for everything. And I know I'm probably ruining it on this hard cutting board, but where I keep my cutting board usually, that's the deal. Okay. Ooh, it's pretty. I'm afraid to hold it up that it'll fall apart. When I put it on the plate, I'll show you. Or I'm going to try to hold one up for you. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm so excited. The next roll, I came up with this. I woke up actually this morning and I was like, oh, you know what sounds interesting? This sounds interesting. Oh, first off, here's the red chili I used. The one that's burning my eyes currently. I found it. It was under a towel, hiding. Okay, in this bowl over here, I have the last couple tablespoons of my chopped up cauliflower, and then all the stuff that fell out of the edges of all the rolls that I made. And I chopped up the last of my green onions and threw that in the bowl too. Okay, so this time for the rice in here is, and again, don't use rice, you know, just whatever. This is parsnip. Now, parsnip to me is sweet, certainly sweeter than cauliflower. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do something different? Now, when you chop up the parsnip in your food processor, it's not as moist as cauliflower is. So just be aware of that. So I'm going to lay it down the same way that I did with the cauliflower. Leaving at least an inch. It's okay if you leave more. Okay, so now that I've got my parsnip down, I wanted to put something different in it. And I happen to have this really good sweet honeydew melon. And I just thought that would be an interesting set of flavors. So that's all that I'm going to put in here. So it's just going to be parsnip and melon. I think you could probably use any kind of melon you want. This is what I have. Okay. So then I'm just going to roll that up the same way. And what you could do is you can lay some slivers of ginger in there if you're looking for that. But I don't want too many flavors because don't forget about that fabulous dip that we made, that dressing. Okay, so I'm just going to roll this up and then cut it. And I'm going to show you what the whole shebang looks like. Oh, that's cute. It looks like a cucumber roll, but surprise when you take a bite and they're going to be like, that's not cucumber. So let me get this plated up and then I'll show you. I finished plating them up and took a little nibble. Oh, so good. I love the melon with the parsnip. I really wasn't sure if that was going to be great, but it's fantastic. Look at this platter. I'll try to take a photo of it so you can actually see it because I'm afraid if I tip it over. The dressing is outrageous. I would love that as a salad dressing. But on the sushi itself, it is so good. I put a little spoon in because it's thin and also because of the looseness of my sushi roll. When someone picks one up, I don't want them to dip it in. And then if it all fell out, that would be terrible. This way they can pile it up on their plate. Let me give you an example. My hand is my plate. They could just take a little bit of the dressing and spoon it on top and pop it in their mouth. I can't wait for tonight. I'm going to have to wrap this up really tight and put it away because I think I'll just stand here and eat them all. Okay, wraps, gorgeous Thai dressing. I don't know if you could see, I put some slivers of fresh ginger, and people can take some fresh ginger with that as well. The apple ginger cocktail. So good. And with all of the loose bits that were left over, chopped them all up into the bowl and made a version of my not fried rice. I threw in a little bit of chili oil and a little bit of tamari. And now a little bit extra. I think I might eat that before they come, but you could make a big bowl of that. So anyways, gung hei fa choi. Thanks for letting me come along on Foodie Friday, and I will see you again.